Most people believe that after 60, the only way to stay healthy is to keep walking, keep pushing, and keep enduring discomfort. But what if that belief is quietly doing more harm than good? As a surgeon, I was trained to respect effort and intensity. Yet I was stunned when I saw aging bodies respond more powerfully to a simple chair exercise than to miles of daily walking. In that moment, science challenged habit, and the body revealed the truth we often ignore. Healing and strength do not come from how hard we push, but from how wisely we move, especially when time, joints, and balance are no longer on our side. Chinese chair exercises are not built on the idea of pushing the body beyond its limits, but on the quieter principle of aligning the body with its own internal systems. For seniors over 60, this alignment becomes essential because the body no longer compensates as easily for imbalance. Circulation, joint integrity, and nervous system balance are deeply interconnected, and when one falters, the others follow. What makes these seated movements remarkable is how they address all three at once without demanding strain or speed. They work not by isolating parts of the body, but by restoring communication between them. Circulation in aging bodies often suffers not from lack of movement, but from inefficient movement. Blood flows best when muscles contract and release rhythmically, not when they are locked in tension. Chinese chair exercises emphasize slow, continuous motion that creates a wave-like pumping effect through the muscles. This gentle rhythm encourages venous return, helping blood travel back to the heart more effectively while also improving arterial flow to the extremities. Over time, this can reduce swelling in the legs, ease feelings of heaviness, and improve warmth in hands and feet, all signs that the circulatory system is being supported rather than stressed. Joint integrity benefits profoundly from this approach. Joints are living structures that rely on movement to remain healthy, yet they are also vulnerable to overload. In many seniors, walking becomes a repetitive stress rather than a nourishing activity, particularly when posture has adapted to pain or stiffness. Seated Chinese exercises guide joints through smooth, circular paths that respect their natural design. These movements distribute pressure evenly across joint surfaces, reducing localized wear and encouraging the production and circulation of synovial fluid. This fluid acts as both lubricant and nutrient carrier, feeding cartilage that otherwise receives little direct blood supply. When joints are moved gently and regularly, they regain elasticity, and stiffness begins to loosen not through force, but through patience. The nervous system plays a central role in determining how the body experiences movement. With age, the nervous system often becomes hypervigilant, reacting quickly to perceived threats such as imbalance, pain, or fatigue. This state of alertness increases muscle tension and disrupts coordination. Chinese chair exercises are designed to calm rather than challenge this system. The seated position signals safety, while slow, deliberate movements provide predictable sensory input. This predictability allows the nervous system to downshift from a defensive mode into a state of regulation. When this happens, muscles respond more smoothly, reflexes become less abrupt, and balance improves even while sitting. Breath is woven seamlessly into these movements, serving as a bridge between voluntary action and automatic regulation. Deep, controlled breathing stimulates the parasympathetic branch of the nervous system, which is responsible for rest, repair, and recovery. As breath slows, heart rate variability improves, a measurable marker of nervous system health. This shift reduces chronic inflammation, supports immune function, and enhances emotional well-being. In seniors, where stress often accumulates silently in the body, this calming effect can be transformative, making movement feel restorative rather than taxing. Another subtle yet powerful aspect of Chinese chair exercises is their emphasis on symmetry and balance. Movements are often performed on both sides of the body with equal attention, correcting imbalances that develop over years of favoring one side due to injury or habit. These corrections may seem minor, but they have profound implications for joint health and circulation. Balanced muscle activation ensures that joints track properly, reducing uneven wear while also allowing blood to flow more evenly throughout the body. The nervous system responds to this symmetry by refining coordination, improving posture, and enhancing the sense of bodily awareness. These exercises also cultivate a mindful relationship with movement. Attention is directed inward, encouraging practitioners to notice sensations, breath, and subtle shifts in tension. This awareness strengthens the connection between the brain and the body, improving proprioception and motor control. For seniors, this heightened awareness reduces the likelihood of sudden, uncoordinated movements that can lead to injury. It also fosters confidence, replacing fear with curiosity and engagement. From a scientific standpoint, the effectiveness of these practices lies in their respect for biological timing. Aging tissues respond best to gradual stimuli that allow adaptation without overload. Chinese chair exercises provide this by delivering consistent, low-intensity input that the body can integrate fully. Over time, circulation improves, joints regain mobility, and the nervous system learns to trust movement again. The result is not just physical improvement, but a renewed sense of harmony within the body, where systems support rather than compete with one another, allowing health to emerge as a natural expression of balance rather than a forced achievement as the body ages. One of the most misunderstood changes is not the loss of strength itself, but the loss of coordination between muscle engagement, breath, and posture. These three elements form a single system, yet they are often treated as separate concerns. In reality, posture shapes breath. Breath shapes muscle activation, and muscle activation reinforces posture. When this loop weakens after 60, movement becomes inefficient and tiring, even when the effort appears modest. Chinese chair exercises quietly restore this loop by addressing all three at once, revealing how deeply interconnected they truly are. Muscle engagement in younger bodies is often automatic. Signals travel quickly, fibers respond decisively, and movement feels immediate. With age, this responsiveness slows, not because muscles disappear overnight, but because the nervous system becomes selective about when to recruit them. If posture is unstable or breath is shallow, the brain interprets movement as risky and limits engagement. In seated exercises, stability is already established, which allows muscles to activate without hesitation. Small movements performed slowly require continuous engagement, particularly in stabilizing muscles that are often neglected during walking. These muscles, especially in the hips, abdomen, and back, are essential for balance and endurance, yet they are best awakened in controlled, supported positions. Breath plays a surprisingly dominant role in this process. Many seniors develop shallow breathing patterns, often as a response to pain, stress, or poor posture. Shallow breathing reduces oxygen delivery and increases tension in the neck, shoulders, and chest, creating a chain reaction that weakens muscle coordination. Chinese chair exercises emphasize slow, deep breathing that expands the lower ribs and abdomen. This type of breathing increases oxygen availability and stimulates the diaphragm, a muscle that also contributes to spinal stability. When the diaphragm functions well, it supports the core, allowing other muscles to engage more efficiently and with less effort. Posture is the quiet framework that holds everything together. Over time, gravity, habit, and discomfort can draw the body forward, compressing the spine and altering the alignment of joints. This collapse reduces lung capacity and shifts the center of gravity, making balance more difficult. Seated exercises encourage upright posture without forcing it. The chair provides a foundation that allows the spine to lengthen naturally. As posture improves, the ribcage opens, breathing deepens, and muscle activation becomes more balanced. This alignment reduces strain on joints and distributes effort evenly throughout the body. The interaction between these elements creates a feedback loop that can either accelerate decline or support renewal. When posture improves, breath becomes fuller. When breath becomes fuller, muscles receive clearer signals and more oxygen. When muscles engage effectively, posture is reinforced. This cycle is particularly important for seniors because it compensates for the natural slowing of physiological processes. Instead of demanding more strength, it optimizes the strength that remains. Scientific observation supports this integration. Studies in movement science and rehabilitation consistently show that exercises combining controlled breathing, postural alignment, and gentle muscle activation improve functional outcomes more than isolated strength training in older adults. These improvements are not limited to physical measures. Cognitive function, mood, and confidence often improve as well, reflecting the influence of the nervous system in regulating movement. When breath slows and posture stabilizes, the nervous system shifts into a state of coherence, allowing the body to move with less resistance. The seated nature of these exercises also encourages sustained attention. Without the distraction of navigating space or maintaining balance, practitioners can focus inward, refining the quality of each movement. This focus enhances motor learning, strengthening neural pathways that support coordination. Over time, movements become smoother and more efficient. Even during daily activities like standing, reaching, or walking, the benefits extend beyond the chair, reshaping how the body moves in all contexts. Another important aspect is the reduction of compensatory patterns. When posture collapses or breath is restricted, the body recruits stronger muscles to compensate for weaker ones, often leading to overuse and pain. Chair exercises slow movement enough to reveal these patterns, allowing weaker muscles to re-engage and stronger muscles to relax. This redistribution of effort protects joints and conserves energy, qualities that become increasingly valuable with age. The combined effect of muscle engagement, breath, and posture is a form of internal balance. It does not rely on external support or intensity, but on internal cooperation. This cooperation transforms movement from a task into a conversation between systems, each responding to the others with sensitivity. For seniors, this approach honors the wisdom of the aging body, acknowledging its limits while revealing its capacity for adaptation. The result is not a return to youthful performance, but the emergence of a new kind of strength, one that is quieter, more efficient, and deeply sustainable, rooted in alignment rather than effort. Modern surgical and rehabilitation science has undergone a quiet evolution over the last few decades, moving away from the belief that more forceful intervention always produces better outcomes. In operating rooms and recovery wards, one lesson repeats itself with remarkable consistency. The body heals best when it feels safe, supported, and gently stimulated rather than pushed. This understanding reshapes how we evaluate movement for seniors, especially when comparing high-repetition activities like walking with low-impact controlled exercises performed in a chair. What once seemed too mild to matter now reveals itself as precisely calibrated to the needs of aging tissues. From a surgical perspective, tissue stress is cumulative. Joints, tendons, and muscles do not respond only to single movements, but to repeated patterns over time. Walking, while natural, imposes thousands of micro-impacts through the knees, hips, and spine, even at a slow pace. In younger bodies, these forces are absorbed efficiently. In older bodies, where cartilage is thinner and connective tissue less elastic, these impacts can provoke inflammation and microtrauma. Rehabilitation science shows that inflammation, even at low levels, interferes with muscle activation and delays recovery. Low-impact chair exercises avoid this cycle by stimulating muscles without introducing repeated compressive stress. Neuromuscular research further explains why gentle movement can outperform more demanding activity. After 60, motor unit recruitment becomes less synchronized, meaning muscles do not fire as smoothly or efficiently. High-demand movements often amplify this inefficiency, causing some muscles to overwork while others remain underactive. Controlled chair exercises slow movement enough to allow the nervous system to refine coordination. This improves timing between muscle groups, reducing unnecessary tension and conserving energy. In clinical rehabilitation, such improvements are often seen before measurable increases in strength, yet they have a profound effect on functional ability. Pain science also plays a crucial role in this discussion. Pain is not merely a signal from damaged tissue, it is a protective output from the nervous system. When movement is perceived as threatening, the brain amplifies pain to discourage further activity. Walking, particularly in seniors with joint degeneration or balance concerns, can trigger this protective response even when no new damage occurs. Chair-based exercises lower the perceived threat by offering stability and predictability. As pain signals diminish, muscles are allowed to engage more fully, creating a positive feedback loop where movement feels safer and therefore becomes more effective. Rehabilitation protocols increasingly emphasize closed-chain and supported movements for older adults, especially in post-surgical recovery. These movements reduce shear forces on joints while maintaining functional engagement. Chair exercises fit naturally into this framework. They allow seniors to strengthen muscles involved in standing and walking without bearing full body weight. Over time, this prepares the body for more complex movements by rebuilding foundational strength and coordination. Surgeons often observe that patients who engage in such supported exercises recover mobility more quickly and with fewer setbacks. Cardiovascular science adds another layer of insight. While walking raises heart rate, it does not always optimize cardiovascular efficiency in seniors. Irregular breathing patterns, postural collapse, and early fatigue can limit the benefits. Chair exercises encourage steady breathing and sustained muscle engagement, which can improve stroke volume and circulation efficiency without elevating heart rate excessively. For aging hearts, this balance is critical. It supports endurance and vascular health without imposing unnecessary strain. The psychological dimension is equally significant. Surgical outcomes are strongly influenced by patient confidence and adherence to rehabilitation programs. Exercises that feel achievable are more likely to be performed consistently. Chair exercises remove barriers such as fear of falling, environmental constraints, and weather conditions. This consistency translates directly into better outcomes. In rehabilitation science, frequency often outweighs intensity. Small, regular stimuli allow tissues to adapt gradually, strengthening without provoking injury. Modern imaging and functional assessments further validate these observations. Improvements in joint range of motion, muscle activation patterns, and balance metrics are often seen in patients who prioritize low-impact, controlled exercises. These changes may not always be dramatic, but they are durable. They reflect structural and neurological adaptations rather than temporary gains. Surgeons recognize that durability matters more than speed, especially in aging populations. What shocks many clinicians is not that chair exercises work, but how effectively they align with everything modern science has revealed about healing and adaptation. They respect tissue limits, calm the nervous system, refine coordination, and encourage consistency. They transform movement from a test of endurance into a therapeutic dialogue between body and brain. In doing so, they challenge outdated assumptions about exercise intensity and invite a more nuanced understanding of strength, one that values precision, safety, and sustainability over exertion, and recognizes that in the later decades of life, progress often arrives quietly through movements that appear simple, yet operate in profound harmony with the body's design. After the age of 60, the body does not simply weaken, it changes the rules by which it responds to movement. Muscles that once leapt into action now hesitate. Joints that once tolerated repetition now demand respect, and the nervous system grows cautious, prioritizing safety over speed. In this context, the idea that gentle, seated movement could outperform walking feels almost counterintuitive. Yet when viewed through the lens of biology, it begins to make quiet sense. Walking requires balance, impact absorption, and continuous joint loading, all of which increase the brain's sense of risk in an aging body. When risk rises, the nervous system tightens its grip, limiting muscle activation and reducing the quality of movement even if the duration increases. Seated movement removes this invisible barrier, allowing the body to work without fear, and fear, more than weakness, is often the true limiter after 60. When a person sits securely on a chair, the brain immediately recalibrates. The threat of falling disappears, and with it, the protective stiffness that creeps into muscles during standing or walking. This relaxation is not passive, it is deeply active. Motor neurons fire more freely when the brain perceives stability, recruiting muscle fibers that would otherwise remain dormant. In this state, even small leg lifts, gentle rotations, or slow presses into the floor can stimulate muscle tissue more effectively than a long walk performed under tension. What appears mild on the outside is often richer on the inside, engaging muscles in a controlled and sustained way that promotes endurance rather than exhaustion. Joint health also plays a decisive role. Walking repeatedly compresses the knees, hips, and ankles, which can be beneficial in younger bodies but becomes problematic when cartilage thins and synovial fluid circulation slows with age. Seated exercises, especially those rooted in Chinese movement traditions, emphasize circular motion and gradual loading. These movements act like lubrication systems, encouraging joints to absorb nutrients and release waste without grinding surfaces together. Over time, this reduces stiffness and pain, allowing greater range of motion. The absence of pain is not merely comforting, it directly enhances muscular activation because the brain no longer inhibits movement to protect sensitive joints. Circulation responds in unexpected ways as well. Walking increases heart rate, but it does not always guarantee efficient blood delivery to weakened or underused muscles. In seated movement, muscles are engaged deliberately, often held under gentle tension for longer durations. This sustained engagement acts as a pump, drawing blood into tissues and improving oxygen delivery at a cellular level. For aging muscles, this matters more than speed or distance. Cells that receive consistent oxygen and nutrients maintain function longer, slow degeneration, and recover more effectively after use. The role of posture cannot be overlooked. Many older adults walk with subtle forward collapse, compressed spines, and shallow breathing, patterns shaped by years of adaptation to discomfort. Chair exercises restore vertical alignment without strain. Sitting upright allows the spine to lengthen, the diaphragm to move freely, and the rib cage to expand. This improved posture enhances breathing efficiency, which in turn supports circulation and nervous system regulation. When breath deepens, stress hormones decrease, and muscles receive clearer signals to engage and release in harmony rather than in conflict. Perhaps the most underestimated advantage of seated movement is consistency. Walking depends on weather, energy levels, safe environments, and motivation, all of which fluctuate more with age. Chair exercises remove these variables. They can be performed daily, sometimes multiple times a day, without recovery costs or fear of injury. From a physiological standpoint, consistency is far more powerful than occasional intensity. The body adapts not to what is heroic, but to what is habitual. Gentle movement repeated daily reshapes muscle memory, reinforces neural pathways, and maintains joint function far more reliably than sporadic long walks. There is also a psychological shift that occurs. When movement feels achievable, people engage more fully. They breathe more deeply, move more mindfully, and remain present in their bodies. This mental engagement enhances proprioception, the body's sense of position and movement, which naturally declines with age. Improved proprioception reduces fall risk and improves coordination, benefits that walking alone does not always deliver. The mind becomes a partner rather than a supervisor, allowing the body to explore movement rather than endure it. From a scientific perspective, the effectiveness of chair exercises over walking after 60 is not a rejection of walking itself, but a recognition of changing biological priorities. Aging bodies thrive on safety, precision, and repetition. Seated movement honors these needs, activating muscles without triggering defense mechanisms, nourishing joints without compressing them, and engaging the nervous system without overwhelming it. In this quiet efficiency lies its power, a reminder that the body does not always ask for more effort, but for wiser conversation between movement and biology. Movement has long been framed as a challenge the body must overcome, a test of willpower, endurance, and discipline. This mindset, while effective in youth, becomes increasingly misaligned with the needs of the aging body. After 60, movement is no longer about proving capability, but about sustaining life, function, and dignity. Chinese chair exercises embody a different philosophy, one that treats movement as nourishment rather than punishment, offering the body what it needs rather than demanding what it can no longer easily give. The aging body carries history in every joint and muscle. Injuries, habits, and emotional experiences shape how movement is perceived and performed. When exercise is approached with aggression or impatience, the body responds with resistance, muscles tighten, breath shortens, and the nervous system retreats into protection. Nourishing movement, by contrast, invites cooperation. It respects limits without reinforcing them, creating a space where the body feels heard rather than commanded. This shift in relationship alters not just physical outcomes, but the emotional experience of aging itself. Chinese movement traditions emphasize harmony, continuity, and attentiveness. In a chair, these principles become accessible to almost everyone. The chair is not a symbol of weakness, but of wisdom. a tool that allows energy to circulate without obstruction. Seated movement slows time, allowing attention to settle into the body. In the slower rhythm, subtle sensations emerge, revealing areas of tension, imbalance, or fatigue that often go unnoticed in more strenuous activity. Awareness becomes the first form of nourishment, guiding movement with sensitivity rather than force. From a biological perspective, nourishment implies support for cellular processes. Muscles and joints thrive when they receive consistent blood flow, oxygen, and gentle stimulation. Punishing exercise can disrupt this balance, triggering inflammation and stress responses that undermine long-term health. Nourishing movement maintains equilibrium. It stimulates without overwhelming, strengthening tissues while allowing adequate recovery. Over time, this approach preserves function and delays degeneration, aligning with the body's natural rhythms rather than opposing them. The philosophy of nourishment also transforms motivation. When movement feels restorative, it becomes something to look forward to rather than endure. This emotional shift is crucial for seniors whose relationship with exercise may be colored by past pain or frustration. Nourishing movement fosters trust. Each session reinforces the belief that the body is capable of responding positively, even after years of decline. This trust encourages consistency, and consistency is the foundation of lasting change. Compassion is woven into this philosophy. It acknowledges that aging is not failure, but transformation. The body adapts to preserve life, often at the expense of speed or power. Nourishing movement honors these adaptations, working with them rather than against them. It recognizes that stability, balance, and coordination are as valuable as strength, especially when independence is at stake. Through this lens, movement becomes an act of care, a daily affirmation of worth and self-respect. This approach also reshapes how success is measured. Instead of distance walked or calories burned, success is found in ease of movement, quality of breath, and absence of pain. These metrics may seem subjective, yet they correlate strongly with functional health and longevity. Seniors who move with ease are more likely to remain active in daily life, maintaining social connections and mental well-being. Nourishing movement thus supports not only physical health, but the broader fabric of human experience. In the quiet repetition of chair exercises, a deeper lesson emerges. The body does not require conquest to improve. It requires attention. Each gentle motion becomes a conversation, each breath a response. This dialogue fosters resilience, not through resistance, but through adaptability. As movement nourishes the body, it also nourishes the mind, cultivating patience, presence, and acceptance. These qualities, often overlooked in discussions of health, become increasingly valuable with age. Ultimately, nourishing movement reflects a philosophy of living that extends beyond exercise. It invites a re-examination of how we treat ourselves in later life, encouraging gentleness without surrender and effort without strain. In this balance, health becomes less about reversing age and more about inhabiting it fully. The body, given what it needs, responds with gratitude, revealing that even in its later chapters, it remains capable of growth, adaptation, and quiet strength, sustained not by punishment, but by care.